Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, you're going to learn how to write and use the LAMBDA function in Excel. The LAMBDA function in Excel is a pretty new formula as it was introduced in 2020. It is used to create custom formulas and name them with user-friendly names. Then you can call them throughout your workbook. You can call that formula throughout your workbook. So enough of my talking. Let me show you how it works. So I'm going to start by exploring what the LAMBDA function is. Towards the right of my screen, you can see that we have LAMBDA, the syntax of the LAMBDA function. So it says LAMBDA parameter or calculation. So you are required to declare a parameter or a variable, as the case may be, and then call up a calculation also. So imagine I have this table with last month's sale and current month sale, and I need to calculate the difference. So when you are creating a LAMBDA function, the first step you usually take is to create your core function, meaning what you want to convert to a LAMBDA function. Remember, a LAMBDA function helps you create other functions. So your core function is the first thing, or core formula rather, is the first thing you usually build. So that's what we're trying to build here. So to calculate the percentage change or variance, I'll go current month equals, open the bracket, current month minus previous month, close the bracket, divided by last month or previous month. Then I'll drag this formula down and then it populates nicely. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this formula, right? It's copied in my clipboard. Then I'll navigate to the formulas tab, open up the name manager, click on new. Then in this refers to portion, I'm going to type in lambda, so equals lambda. Then I'm going to type in my parameters in this case. So I'll have something like current month, comma, and last, let's go month, comma. Then I'm going to drop in that formula I wrote before, right? And then so this is my core function or core formula, and then I close my bracket. But now I need to declare what E4 and D4 means. So instead of having E4 and D4, I'll just type in, instead of D4, I'll replace with current month, and D4 I'll replace with last underscore month, and D4 again would be last underscore month, and I'll give my formula a new name, and now I'll call it percent underscore change, right? And I click on OK and then close. So I can come here and type equals percent change, so I can see it as a formula here. The current month now is this value, the last month now is this value. It's simplifying my formula, and I click on OK and I get this, and I can drag down. So that's how it works. This is the first example. We're going to look at a more advanced example. So that is just one way of writing the LAMBDA function. There's another method. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm just going to try to calculate this again. So this is current month minus previous month, last month divided by last month. Yes. Then I'm going to wrap this formula in the LAMBDA function. So I go lambda and open my bracket. So I'm going to call the first one old, then the next one new, then old, new, then old. Then this is the formula that we built, our core formula. So this will be new. Just replace it with new and replace this one with old, and this one also with old. Then I close my bracket and hit enter. Once I hit enter, I'm going to get a calc error, and this is just because I have not declared what function is, or what cells, or what variables, or what parameters are new and old. So outside the formula, I'm going to call up the function call. So this would be E4 and then D4. Then close my bracket and I hit enter, and then I have 100,000. So this is one way of doing it. So once you're done with this, you can just copy this formula in order for it to become something that you can call up. You create a new parameter, new named range. I'll call this variance. I'll just say var percent, var underscore percent, right? Then I'll drop this formula here, and then I'll click on OK. So then I click on close. Now once I type in var percent equals var percent, I'll just declare what is new and what is old. Note that I can use this formula anywhere within this workbook. So I'm having 1 and all this. I just need to change it, format it back to percentage, and I get the same value. I hope that's clear. Those are two methods of working around the lambda function. We're going to move on to a more complex example. Here we just had 2 parameters, so I'll show you another one. For example 2, imagine I am tasked with categorizing all these ages using this criteria. So if the age falls between 0 and 16, we call it teen, 17 and 22 youth, 23 and 49 adult, and 50 and above elder. Usually I would use the if statement, so I'll use ifs because I have multiple criteria here. So if this value is less than or equal to 16, then we're going to call it teen. If this value is less than or equal to 22, then we're going to call it youth. If this value is less than or equal to 49, then we're going to call it adult. If none of these works, then it's true. We're going to call this elder. So I'll do this and I hit enter, so I get youth. I can populate this all the way down and it works. So I need to create a function that will be not as complex as this, because sometimes some people might make mistakes with the quotation marks or forget to use a comma and all that. So I'm gonna just copy this formula up to this point, Ctrl C, so I have it in my clipboard. Then I'm going to call up the lambda function right now. Then I go lambda. The parameter or the calculation here is age. In this case I'm going to call it age because that's what we're categorizing. Then I'm going to paste the if function I just copied. Next thing I'm going to do, anywhere I see C3, the parameter I declared, I'm going to replace it with age. So once I do this, I just close my bracket and I hit enter. Of course I get a calc error because lambda does not know what age means, so I just have to call up the function C3, which is age, and then I hit enter and I get this. So with this I would copy this function again all the way to lambda, Ctrl C, then I go on to the name manager tab, I create a new formula and I'll call this age underscore category. Remember that you cannot use space when naming a range, so that applies here also. Then I paste my formula, make sure to type in equal to in front of the lambda, right, and then I click on OK. So now once I call up equals age category. You can see it here, and I just pick what value is the age. So based on the criteria we have set using the formula, and I have youth. So that's another easy one to do. So I just had only one parameter here. So moving on to a more advanced use of Lambda, we have this table, and I want to do two things. I want to sort by revenue and also sort by region. So I want to sort that in this table here. So I'm going to use the sort by formula. The first argument here says array. I know it's this entire table, comma, by array 1. So what column am I sorting by? So it's the revenue column. I'll just highlight it, comma, then this sort order is descending. I want the highest first. Then I also want to sort by region, right? Then I want to sort in an ascending order. So I pick one, then I close my brackets and I hit enter, and instantly it sorts it accordingly for me. So I can see it's sorted by revenue first and then sorted by region next. So I want all this to be customized into a Lambda function, so I don't have to always come here to type this. So in the first formula, I'm going to wrap it up with Lambda, and then I'm going to state out my parameter here. So the first parameter here is this first argument here, which I'll call all because it's the entire data set. Then F3 to F16, which is the revenue. I can just type in revenue, right? Then E3 to E16, which is the region. I just type region, right? Then this will be the calculation. Then I close my bracket. Of course, I'll get a calc error, so I just need to state out those formulas. So instead of doing that again, I'll just copy the entire Lambda, then go on to the formula tab, name manager, then I'll call this one sort by, or sort revenue. So next thing I'm going to do is to paste our Lambda function here, and then I'll just replace these values, the first one with all, the second one with revenue, and then the last one with region. And then I click on OK, then close. So if I'll delete the whole of this, then I can come here and call sort revenue. The all is the all, comma, the revenue is this column, comma, the region is this column. You can also call it array 1, array 2, so that it's more versatile. I close my bracket and I hit enter, and then it sorts. I hope you learned something new. Follow for more content like this.